Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Pick 10 80s to number 9. Red Dawn. Now, this is my first time watching this. I have seen the remake, and after watching this, I think I might like the remake better. Oh no, I have to rewatch it eventually. But I don't know. I remember thinking the remake, liking the remake. This was, I don't know. It had sort of a downer ending to this movie. You know how I feel about downer endings. Sometimes they work, but for this movie, I don't know. The story here is that after the Soviet Union, Russians, Soviet Union, and Cubans, for some reason, invade the United States in a small Chicago town, or small Illinois town, excuse me, or Colorado, a small Colorado town, excuse me, and a group of ragtag teenagers, or 20-somethings playing teenagers, fight back against their oppressors, against the Soviet invasion. So, yeah, first and foremost, I was contemplating Young Guns would technically be a Brat Pack movie because it has Charlie Sheen, Amelia Estevez in it. This is definitely a Brat Pack movie. You got Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, Leah Thompson, C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Grey, even the one dude from guy who plays Randy in The Outsiders. He's in this. So, yeah, there's that Brat Pack kind of thing. You also have Lane Smith, Mr. Elvis himself from Lois and Clark, New Adventures of Superman, as the mayor of the town, Danny's father. And you have appearances from Henry Dean Stanton as the father of Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze in this. And yeah, beginning of the movie, there's a cameo from the no-nonsense police chief from Last Action Hero. That guy, he plays a teacher that gets just shot the fucking hell. Just like, okay, so I think one of the reasons why I liked the remake better is that you get to know these characters first. I remember getting to know the characters before everything happens. Here, invasion happens right away. You don't get to really know the characters other than the two brothers. You're dropping off Charlie Sheen in high school, which should be driving by then, but who knows. And that's it. You don't really get to know your characters. Where I think the characters are established in the remake. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since. I think it's been a few years, at least 10. Well, it came out 10 years ago, so no, it'd be like 2016, I think I watched it when I bought it, so, yeah, but I remember that. There was also more connection between the characters, and I don't want to keep comparing, but here, I was confused why it was all guys at first. I'm like, where are the girls? Because I remember in the remake, one of the girls was a character's girlfriend, and the other one knew the older brother. They served together or whatever. They knew each other. So there was that connection. Here, they're just two teenage girls that are connected to this old couple that they know. And so they're brought in and just never told they knew each other. Also, there's a sort of confusing love interest thing between Powers Booth's character, who is like a U.S. soldier that they found gunned down, and Leah Thompson's character that's just dropped. Apparently they did that. Well, apparently that's why Leah Thompson wanted the role, but also apparently they dropped it because of the character's age gap. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming maybe at least they were 18, they were seniors or something. I don't know. And there are scenes in this that are just like this. I guess this was at the time, I don't know now, but the most violent movie ever made. I can believe it. There are scenes where you just see the Russians bring people out. There was one scene in this movie where it's basically to get once they I think they found out who these kids are, so they bring anyone related, the brother's dad, anyone related, and there's people. They start singing the American anthem, American national anthem, and they just get there's a firing squad just shooting the fuck out of them. Just yeah. But to their credit, though, they are smart. They go to hardware stores, they get guns, they get everything to fight back. And they're hiding in the mountains, which, far away from everything, trying to figure out what's going on. When Powers Booth's character, the American soldier guy, lands, they question whether or not he's like a Russian spy or something. Because he's played by Powers Booth, I thought he was going to end up being a bad guy. Because Powers Booth, he plays bad guys. I think this and Frailty are the only two that he's not really a bad guy. Well, no. Frailty, they revealed he killed his mother, so never mind. Spoiler alert for that movie. Great movie, by the way. I gotta finally knuckle down and buy that movie because it's fantastic. Bill Paxton acting and directing in that movie is just great. But this movie was directed by John Milius. Milius, whatever. And it's interesting because he also directed Conan the Barbarian, which is the next movie I'm doing. What a coinky-dink. I didn't realize that when I picked him. I didn't know. I did not know. I picked Conan the Barbarian because I'm going to do the sequel-a-thon, so I got to do that, right? So, yeah, there's some decent action and stuff. However, something that confused me is, or not confused me, kind of got to me a little bit, frustrated me, that's the word, frustrated me. For a movie about teenagers fighting back against Russian soldiers, that doesn't happen until like halfway through the film, the 50-minute mark. The 50-minute mark, it happens. And I'm like, really? We waited this long to start fighting back? But to their credit, when they start fighting back, they fight back. I mean, they fight back. And another brutal scene is that one of their own, the guy from The Outsiders, Randy from The Outsiders, he gets captured and taken to his father, the mayor. The mayor tries to pardon him, stuff. The Russians make him swallow a tracking device and send him back out there. When they realize what's going on, they kill like a Russian soldier that's with them, and then they're forced to shoot him. Patrick Swayze can't bring himself to do it, so it's the other guy, C. Thomas Howell's character, I think, that shoots him. It's something. It's and then later when Jennifer Grey gets shot, I think it is, isn't it? They get shot. She's dying. I think or is it Leah Thompson's character? Whichever one is Tony. She's dying, and again, he can't bring himself to shoot her to put out her misery, so they lay there together. And then the Russians find her, and there's a bomb that explodes. We don't see the explosion. We see all the other explosions, but yeah. And the movie's ending, I know what they were trying to do, but for me, it just comes. Only 2 of these 10 teenagers survive. And it's C. Thomas Howell's character and whatever the other girl is, Jennifer Grey or Leah Thompson. I think it's Erica. I think Leah Thompson was Erica, so I think it's Leah Thompson that survives. So those 2 survive, but that's it. The 2 brothers end up dying. And I remember Like, even Powers Booth's character ends up dying, and I remember the remake having a better ending, and it's just so dark. They die together on a bench, like I think it's like a bench they went to as kids or something. I don't know. It's too dark of an ending for me. It. I don't think that many should have died. I remember. I think it's Chris Hemsworth's character in the remake. Spoiler alert for that, if I'm right. I think he's the one that dies, and the younger brother, Josh Peck's character, takes over and keeps fighting. Really, you got a fucking whistle in the hallway? Whatever, some weirdo whistling in the hallway. I don't understand why people make noise in the hallway. They know it echoes. Earlier, like, glad I didn't try doing a review earlier. There were people doing stuff, going in and out doors, and just slamming the door. Like, I think it's the apartment is over on this side over here. It just constantly slamming doors. Just like, maybe there was a little bit in the first review I did today for Young Guns, but this was just, it was terrible. Anyway, back to this. I'm not a big fan of the ending. I know what they were trying to do. Like, these people laid down their lives, and eventually the war was won, and it was their effort that helped push that into existence. But I don't know. Killing off all your characters, but two seems like a waste of characters to me. Like, we built these characters throughout these movies and their relations throughout this movie and their relationships together, and then they just all die except for two of them, who I think barely shared the scene together. Maybe they did. I don't know. But I don't know. The ending kind of made it dip for me. But I did like a bunch of action scenes. Other things that I didn't care for. So I understand that Russians and Cubans aren't going to speak English. But this is a movie. There was way too much subtitle reading in this movie. Every time a Russian or a Cuban spoke, it was in their language, and I had to read. Constantly read, and it was hard. I could not get up and go get a drink or something. They're speaking in Cuban or Spanish, whatever, and I have to read. I have to pause it so I can get a drink and then go back and have to read. It's just, look, I understand it's not realistic, but this is a movie you can suspend your disbelief, have them speak in English. I mean, if you're going to invade our country, at least speak our fucking language, okay? So we know why you're doing it and what you're doing and the commands you're giving. I mean, you know, if you're gonna shoot me in the face, tell me in English first. Like, I'm going to shoot you. Thanks for telling me in English. You know, not huh? Why didn't you tell me? Hey, you know, not like a warning. Just, you know, you're gonna get in my face. You're gonna shoot me in the face. At least, you know, threaten me in English. You know, nothing against it, but it's just too much reading in this. If I wanted to read, I would have watched a foreign film. You know what I mean? There's too much reading in this. Just way too much. Otherwise, I thought it was good. You know, I like the setting with the mountains and everything. Apparently, they filmed in like Arizona, California, New Mexico, around that area, I guess. Arizona, California area. Las Vegas, that's the other one. Las Vegas and Arizona, I think is what it was. When it was up in California. Interesting fact is that they had the replica tanks for the Russian tanks. And when they were parading them around California, getting ready to film with them, the CIA actually thought they were real tanks and investigated where they were and everything. How realistic they were, I guess. You all heard that, right? What was that? Vibrated the floor. But, I'll give it a middle of the road. I'm not big on it, but I thought it was okay. And maybe, who knows? I'm high on the remake. Maybe I'll rewatch the remake, and that'll be worse. Who knows? But for me, this is, I'm kind of meh when it comes to 80s movies. I love 80s movies. Sometimes I think they're awesome. Sometimes they're just okay. And this one was just okay. I don't hate myself for buying it. It's decently made. I mean, this guy directed it. He's done war movies before, and Conan the Barbarian's the next one, so maybe that one's better. Who knows? But it was it's a good movie. It's just not one of the best things I've ever seen. But so what are your thoughts on Red Dawn? Let me know comments. Let me sure like, share, and subscribe. We got one more left. All right, I'll get it out. Should have done that before. This is Conan the Barbarian, and I'm gonna try to get that one done tonight too, so I can just be done with this. I cleaned my bathroom today, so that's good. Toilet's clean, floor, sink, mirror, everything's clean. I gotta clean my kitchen tomorrow, and if I have time, maybe I'll do the living room and the bedroom. But I think I'm trying to. I try to focus. My grandma taught me, and you don't care. You just came in for a review. My grandma taught me to focus on each room first, and my apartment needs to be cleaned. Big LT is coming back on Tuesday for the release of WWE 2K23, and I want it to be clean because you have a guest in your apartment, you want it to be clean, even though I don't always clean it for him or for guests. My friends know how messy my apartment is. They don't care, but it's nice to clean for guests, so I will. But yeah, I'm trying to get these done so I can sort of put something on the background and clean. I do plan on doing at least one video for W2K22 on Saturday. Saying goodbye. It's saying goodbye to the superstars that won't be in this year's game. I'm going to do that. Like a Royal Rumble match or something. But, yeah, so, yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.